there, Patrick?
I'm doing it.
There we go. All right, guys. So welcome. Thank you for coming today. I've known these guys, the Ranking Factory guys, for a long time. What is it? About 7 years? Is it about 7 years?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. So, about 6 months ago, Gary reached out to me on Skype, and this was kind of a funny, I'll tell you a little funny story with it. So, you know me with my stories. So years and years ago, I had a Dodge Neon. Now, during the mastermind this past week, I was talking with my guys and I was telling about this Dodge Neon. We all got this great laugh. And years and years ago, I was going to work. I was driving down the road and I had to do a double take. So I was, this car shot past me in the left lane and I just saw the back end of the person's head and they had long flowing blonde hair. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, Hacha mama. I'm all, oh, that's a good looking check. All right. So they got over in the right lane. I got over the left lane and I stomped the gas on that little Neon, which I had to give it the full throttle to get up there, right? To catch up to this car with this long flowing blonde hair. I was like, oh man, you know that Amy Grant song, Baby, Baby? That's what was playing in my head at that time. I was like, oh, this is great, So I had to go up for that double take. So I zip up past the car and I look over with the right side of my window and I look out and it's a dude. Okay. It's a dude with long flowing blonde hair. And I was like, no way. I stomped on the brakes and I zip back over in the right lane. I'm like, yo, that was so disturbing. So I called up my best friend, Paul, and we got this huge laugh and still 15 years. I think this was 15 years ago. 15 years later, we still get a laugh. He brought it up the other day and we were laughing really hard about it. So here's how this plays into it. So I'm sitting on Skype and I see this message pop up on my left screen over here. And it was Gary. And Gary was like, hey, Michael, we got this new SEO method. And I'm like, oh, all right. Yeah, okay, cool. Sorry, Gary. I'm like, all right, sounds cool. What you got? And I keep working. It keeps popping up, ding, 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 ding over in Skype. I'm like, geez, Gary. I look back over there and he's like, yeah, I just moved, Amazon, about 26,000 spots. I'm like, no freaking way. It's a double take. Now, this time it paid off. The first time it was a dude, but this time it actually paid off.
The double take paid off, eh?
Yeah, it definitely paid off. So it was great information. It was solid SEO. And I actually got something out of it, which was awesome, which the first one, I certainly did not want anything out of it. So long story short, you got to take a double take a lot of times in life with the regular things and with the SEO things. And it was awesome. So Gary and Patrick, great guys. Rod, I think Rod's here as well. I don't think he's on the panelist. And we have this awesome gentleman today. It's going to talk about his ranking strategy and what he actually pulled off with this. So I'm going to turn it over. I'll end up talking the entire time if I don't shut up. So I'm going to turn this back over to Patrick and Gary. And we're not going to ever mention the blonde, long-haired
blonde. I'm gonna send you a picture of Fabio.
That's exactly what it was, man. That's exactly
it's going to be in your Christmas card. Maybe I'll do it for Valentine's Day's over now. So
we just passed it. We're a little late, man. Day late and a dollar short.
Absolutely. So, all right, great. Thanks, Mike. Really appreciate it. And above all, Mike can attest to this. We're not here to bore you. We want to make sure that we have fun. And so that includes you guys saying or commenting anything that you want. You can't hurt my feelings. Gary cries a little bit every now and then, but he gets over it, so it's all right. And Randy's too old to care, so it's all right. We're in good shape. So what we want to share with you today is some things we've been working on, and Michael knows these processes that we've had for, I think, going on 6 years now. And so we created our own coins, TRS coins, and that's just really not coins. It's just an acronym for a gift that anybody that stays to the end will give you 50 coins. 50 coins is like a gift card. It represents $75 at any time in the future. Anything that you come buy with us, you can just tell Rod you got 50 TRS coins, and you immediately get a $75 discount off of anything after today. So doesn't include today, right? So you can go on down to the next one. Let's see. There you go. And then the other thing that we have and we use a lot is this little tool, not that one, for it's called Keyword Translation Factory. It's not necessarily a translator, but it's a very, very cool utility tool that we use for titles, for scraping Google for keywords, for content, and building out. Hey, Michael, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
The you know how we used to have at the bottom of Google the related searches?
Yeah.
They're not there anymore. Or they weren't the other day when I went. I could keep
what,
scrolling.
it could be that perpetual scroll thing that they've put in.
I know, right?
Yeah, I think that's messing up with that. Yeah.
So the 8 related searches at the bottom, which was the thing that we would, kind of base a lot of SEO off of and know that this is what Google thought, they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But in any event, that's why I wanted to ask you that question, because I thought maybe you might, have an insight on that.
Yeah,
But
I think it's that perpetual thing, which is really annoying.
So I'm not sure. I like it. I'll tell you why. Because, when I tell somebody I can guarantee them to get them on the first page of Google.
Yeah.
I now have 20 more spaces to work with.
That's true.
So,
you're terrible.
anyway,
I love it.
I think the scrolling's my friend. But in any case, there's a lot of things that we use this tool for, especially for titles and whatnot. So, John says he sees related searches on his. Okay, so maybe it's just in different areas or what they're rolling out. But so anyway, on the next slide here, what we're going to talk about today is using Backlink Factory that will give you tremendous unfair advantage. And when I say an unfair advantage, this is kind of an interactive thing. So, is it in the middle of the pages? Okay. So it's somewhere around there, but we still have a long first page now. But, the unfair advantage that we're talking about is what Gary and I've done over the last 6 years is create ways to use Google against itself. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but it's like anything else. Mama loves her children and, Google loves her properties. And so when we can figure out a way to utilize Google itself to rank itself, you have, a pretty winning combination. And so with the Backlink Factory, which we're going to show you today, is we're showing you how to use Google to create Google backlinks that have a 98 authority to promote your keyword. So in the chat, how many people think that using Google as your backlink is probably a pretty good idea? Give me a 1 if you think, that makes sense, or we have been known to smoke pot, right? So you think it's a good idea, or, just like any other backlink that you might get from USA Today, or any press release, right? So we've proven the fact that using Google as a backlink source has given us tremendous advantage. Now the other part of that is using your anchor texts, as your keywords for that. Now you've got Google promoting your keyword, right? It's like YouTube, Google blogs, etc. Yeah, exactly, right? And so now, let's talk about how we use Google properties, not just Google properties as backlinks, but Google properties in themselves to work with other Google properties. So as an example, anybody in the chat, just type any Google property that you can think of, right? I've given you a couple there at the front. We got Google Maps, right? That's a Google property. What other Google properties are there? G&B is a Google property. Peter Drew has G sites are a Google property. Docs are a Google property. Okay, that's good. Scholar.google is a property. Books.google, right? So there's a lot of properties out there that Google own, and they all are subject to the same rules that Google has. In other words, they can take a lot of hit, a lot of incoming, a lot of PBNs, a lot of ammunition can hit a Google property, and it's like, you know, watching, you know, Godzilla just shake off bullets and, you know, bombs and missiles from the helicopters, right? So by using these properties together, we can build a lot of authority. We use these to power up our IFTTT properties. We build IFTTTs, and then we use Google backlinks, you know, to boost our IFTTTs, right? And because of the fact that there's no limit to what you could do, the way that we do this and recommend it and show you, and Randy's going to share this in a little while, you can build unlimited quality and quantity of Google backlinks from not only sheets, you know, but maps. You could use them for anything. So is everybody starting to get the picture how the value of using Google to write Google may have a little bit of advantage over somebody that's trying to buy links or get guest posts? I'm not saying that they're wrong or they're bad, right? Everything works together in the world that we live in. Some things just happen to work a little bit better, okay? So, you know, with that being said, we could also use embed iframe tools, especially with maps when we're trying to do local. And when we do maps and we do points of interest, which we're going to talk about today, we got the embed code from the driving directions. And all right, here's a question. On maps, how many different ways can you get a direction on maps? How many different entities are on maps that you can get a direction? Just give me a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. How many are on there? Right? I don't want the name. 7. Okay. I got a 7. What else? Who else we got? 8. All right. Hey, Donald, how you doing, bud? Okay, this is on maps, right? So we got a couple of people that think they know the answer, and then everybody else is clueless, obviously, of the 40 people that didn't answer, right? 356. Yeah, Donald. So, I mean, listen, it's very simple. And how many of you are doing this when you're doing your local business and your local rankings? How many of you use driving directions? Give me a 1 if you use driving directions. Okay, if you're doing local and you're doing maps, right, you got to use driving directions, right? That's right. Give me a 1. Everybody that's here, if you use maps for SEO for local, what do you got? Driving directions. How many use something else besides driving directions? If you use something else besides driving directions, go ahead and put it in the chat. Okay. What else we got? We have walking directions, right? So why not, when you're doing one thing, use every tool that Google gives you to use? So when you're trying to create proximity, you're trying to create an environment whereby Google understands where your property is, okay? You use every possible way of showing Google that you are relevant to that position. Driving directions, walking directions, cycling directions. What about transit, right? Transit. So now you got bus routes that you can use as driving directions, right? And then obviously, for whatever reason, they have flying directions in there, but I'm not sure I'd want to hop on a plane, Randy, and fly 3 miles or 5 miles or 20 miles, but you know, it's there. So anyway, I use it anyway.
Not with your luck. It takes you 4 hours to get to an hour place.
Right. And so one of the other possibilities and probabilities and the things that we learned at the very beginning is when Google gives you an opportunity to use something that it gave you and you don't use it, you've missed an opportunity that Google gave you for free. Does that make sense, everybody? Right? You want to use exactly what you can use every time they give you something. So that's why when we talk about the unfair advantage is everybody else is trying to make backlinks and everybody else is trying to get ranking, and they're doing all these things. And I'm not saying that they don't work. PBNs work. They don't work depending upon who you're working with. You know, I'm not saying they don't work. We're just saying that why not use the best, right? So when we get down to, you know, the next slide here, where we talk about what Randy's done in this process, you know, we see that you're able through our tools, what we've built, you're able to have unlimited primary and secondary keyword anchor text. Okay. So when you are looking at unlimited, you know, that literally means unlimited. We have had circumstances, and I'm going to check to see if he's on here because I don't want to embarrass him if he is. I don't think so. But we've had circumstances where somebody built 1 million backlinks to their GMB. Does anybody want to guess what happened when he did that? Anybody want to guess what happened when he built 1 million backlinks to his GMB? Okay. If you don't, I can tell you. He blew it up. That's bad, John D. Bad. It's real bad. Okay. It got him to #1 in like 1 day. Right? He's able to purchase Amazon. So, but what happens is it's so much power that it totally evaporated his GMB beyond page 100. It destroyed it. So the balance over the last few years that we've been able to, you know, ascertain and play with and understand, we kind of now know how much power and how much energy we want to throw at something in order to make sure that we don't absolutely kill it. Okay. And so, you know, with that being said, with the secondary and primary, you know, anchor text, local merging text onto anchors, you know, we have spin boxes in there. So we're spinning content. We're now adding AI in there. So we've got AI content in there. You can create unlimited URL boxes, parent and child folders. How many are familiar with stacking? I think if anybody says they're not familiar with stacking, you're probably in the wrong place. But we now can take that power of the backlinks and create another power of the backlinks through stacking. So we have created that as a process in here as well. Keyword stacking, you can you know, take your keywords, stack them to another keyword, stack them to another keyword, and push that power all the way up. And then lastly, we have boxes where you can fill in data, relevant data for your NAP, you know, relevant data for, you know, maybe Wikipedia data, other types of data that you might want to stuff in those links as they get pushed out, you know, for your anchor text and your secondary anchor text. Does everybody understand that or have any questions about that? Real quick? No? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little peek inside here and let Randy kind of share some stuff with us here pretty soon. And he's going to show you how he took the ideas and concepts that we're talking about today and knew absolutely nothing, right, Randy?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he knew absolutely nothing. And what I'm not going to tell you
at that point.
well, I mean, you know absolutely nothing about what we're talking about, right? At that point, right?
Yep.
And so, you know, with that being said, sometimes, you know, Michael, I bet, you know, you can attest to this, right? Sometimes it's better to be able to teach somebody who knows nothing than to try to teach somebody who thinks they know everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The experts. Yep.
Right. And, you know, well, I know all about that, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I think the reality of it is if we're all humble enough, oh, you know, that Bill, that's me. Okay. What, on the first part or the second part, Bill? Right. So we want to just relax, sit back and listen and kind of pay attention, because I'm going to guarantee that you will learn something if you pay attention today. This is not just trying to show you something to get you to buy something. We want you to learn something that even if you don't buy anything, you can go back, and if you're in Michael's mastermind, you can go back and you can apply some of the things that you have already learned here today and go back and share that with them. With some of the guys in there don't really understand some of the things that we do here, right? And so it's all about learning, right? So Michael's, yeah, whenever Michael spills his knowledge, yeah, we all feel that way. And we've known him for a long time as well. Okay. So the next tool that we're going to talk about real quick, and we're going to let Randy, kind of share a story, is it's called POI Factory. And no, this is not, the fish. No, this isn't Chinese food, right? So POI stands for what? Who can give me what POI stands for? Starts with a P, ends with an I. Points of interest, right? There you go. Thanks, Craig. You guys got it? Points of interest. All right. So we're going to kind of give you a little different flavor, Manuel, on what points of interest actually is and how it's defined and how we use it. That maybe some of you don't use it, and you'll learn something here today to be helpful in relationship to that. Which
Patrick, you said this was not Chinese food, and then you mentioned flavor. Now I'm getting hungry, man.
Well, you know what? I know where you live. Uber's Eats is pretty close. Okay, so I know this is a ridiculous question to ask, but how many of you guys would like to know, like to see, find out how Randy took his son's dental practice, who had hired a high-level SEO company, right, Randy?
Yep.
And they were paying
A lot of money.
A lot of money for over a year, right?
Yep, for over a year and a half.
And how far did they move him in the ranking?
The best they got, he has 4 practices, and the best they got was number 9 for one practice.
Number 9, after all that money, right?
Yeah.
And then along came Randy. Along came Randy, and he just blew them out of the water. Okay. And so we're going to have Randy share that story with you. But one real quick other story is our friend Brenda there, just to show you that this isn't just about, driving directions and, getting Google map packs and first page Google. Brenda is another student of ours, like Randy, who just kind of believes everything we say. Now I can understand why they believe everything Gary says, but I'm not sure I understand why they believe everything I say. All right. But taking the same concept as what you did, right, Randy? The same thing.
Yep.
Pretty much. Brenda was ranked 1 million in Amazon for her puzzle book. And she applied some of the concepts that we teach. And over about a 2 or 3 week period, she started to see her book, Mike, drop in ranking from 1 million to 600,000 to 200,000. She got all the way down to 25,000 in Amazon ranking her puzzle book from 1 million. Now, do you think that's pretty amazing, Michael?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's what gave me the double take.
Right.
That gave me the double take. That was what double taked it, and then I was like, okay, this is not the long-haired blonde dude. This is the this is the serious ranking. I want it, doggone it.
That's it. So here, the interesting part of that, Mike, is that she never achieved #1 status for her puzzle book, right?
Yeah.
But I think myself, I think what she got was better. Here, let me put my camera. She got better than #1 ranking status, right?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. That's cool. I can do that too. So what happened was this. They put her book on the bottom of the page in that little itty bitty section on the bottom that does what? Bundle. So the absolute #1 book for what she had a puzzle book for, that everybody was buying, an old cowboy that you would know you would know. She was in the 2nd position bundle for that book. Right? So to me, that's a better spot than if she was just #1, because she's going to get all the traffic from him into her, plus now she's going to get her own traffic, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Just blew it up, blew it up. So my point is, you know, we can use the tools that we have, and that, like in the mastermind what Michael, you know, teaches, you can use this for other things. It's not singular.
Exactly.
It's not a singular lane, right? And then, you know, Randy comes along to his son, who's a dentist, and, you know, says, Dad, let me see if I can help you. I met these crazy old guys, right?
And I said, I met these crazy young guys.
You know, and so anyway, Randy started to learn and listen and do the things that we've been building and teaching over the last 5 years. And I'm going to shut up and let Randy tell you his story. Okay. And I think you guys will be amazed. I may ask some questions along the way, but you know, it's pretty awesome. So go for it, bud.
Okay, well, it's like you guys, you know, I was sitting where you are wondering whether this made sense or not, but I was kind of from a little different position because for years I had kind of poo-pooed SEO, not knowing why somebody would pay somebody for 6 months before they started ever seeing some results, which was, you know, typical of what I was saying. And I happened to sit in a meeting and I saw this and it just sounded like, man, this was different. And I thought, well, it was worth taking a good look at it. So I was active in local marketing, but, you know, what I wanted to do, and I approached my son, is he had just opened a new dental practice prior to me joining here about 18 months ago. It was in December of 20, well, 18 months. It was, yeah, it was in, excuse me, December of 21, I think it was, that he, you know, started that practice. And what ended up happening is the people that were doing the SEO, you know, were doing it for, at that time, for just his website, and they had set up his GMB. And when I was talking to him, he said, well, let's use this as a test, as a test site, because I haven't let these guys touch it for anything else. And when I looked at things, he had started to do wanting to expand his dental implant business as a dentist. And so up until that time, you know, everything they were doing, SEO, was related to, you know, being a dentist, even though he was doing some implants, but we wanted specifically to, you know, promote the dental implant business. So that's where we were focusing our efforts on. And to give you a little bit of background, when I started with him, his GMB said nothing about dental implants. His this particular website, because it was new website, you know, new practice, and being manned by, you know, a dentist who was not, you know, as advanced as he wasn't doing dental implants. So his website didn't say anything about dental implants. And so we use this to start targeting it for dental implants. And what ended up happening is, to put this in perspective, it took us, it was after the third run with Backlink Factory, I'll explain this in a second, but we run it every week. So by the time I got started and started running it, it was about 30 days from when I started, but it was really after 3 runs. I got them ranked in the Google 3-pack. And what happened was we then looked at what that meant for his business in the following 30 days, because we continue to do it and we continue to get him rankings, and I'll show you that in a second. But at the time we started, this new practice needed 23 patients in order to break even. So of course he wanted to do a lot more than 23 patients, but from his financial standpoint, he needed 23 patients. And they were varying between 20 to 26 patients a month. And so after our very first 30 days following him getting into the 3-pack, he ended up with 47 new patients. You know, and that was quite an eye-opener for both him and me. And what we wanted to do is to say, okay, what's going on here? And so, you know, I was watching things carefully and trying to analyze exactly what was going on. And one of the things I found, which, and this is my quote here that I had sent over to Gary, was I was getting ranked for words in the Google 3-pack that I wasn't even targeting. My whole focus was on dental implants, and yet I was getting, you know, I was getting into results into a lot of other areas. For an example, just to give you an idea, well, let me go back to where the point I want to make, and then I'll come back here. Okay. These were the results I got in that very first 30 days when I went in to say, okay, what else is he ranking in? And it just blew my mind. For best dentist in Muskegon, he was ranked #1 for cosmetic dentist, dental clinic near me, dental hygienist. For dentist, #1, dentist near me, #1, emergency dentist near me, emergency dental services 1. All these other keywords were being ranked, even though I was going after dental implants, against other people who obviously, other dentists who have been in the area, you know, for years and years and years. And his practice was only, you know, there for, you know, a much shorter period of time. And so one of the things I did just as we were preparing for the presentation, is I want to take a look at where we were ranking, and I'm going to illustrate when I get into the softwares, his practice, which is Infinity Dental Implants. That was the new practice. And on 11/10, and this was kind of a key thing, even though we started them out earlier, I happen to be looking at 11/10 because by that time we had a period of time behind us. Everything was going up, you know, in terms of people, you know, coming to their sites. And so he was ranking #1 for Infinity Dental High Point Flats and for best dentist near me. He was ranking for dental clinics #1. Dental implants cost near me, he was #2. For dental implants itself, just insanely difficult keyword to rank for, even in the local side, he was ranked #1 for that. Then when we got in dental implants in Muskegon, he was #2, and he has another office just outside of Muskegon, and he was ranked #3, but just outside in Norton Shores, he has another office, and that was being ranked #2. And then we had double rankings for dental implants near me, and then Infinity Dental High Point Flats and Infinity Dental Norton Shores. You know, we're just getting these insane results. Now, a lot of people wonder what's going on today. And what I want to do is just take a second and show you that that's where things still lie today. So I'm going to open up my browser.
You sure you want to do that, Randy?
I haven't looked today, but I'm sure I want to do it, because if I didn't, I got to go and start fixing things. So first of all, I got to make sure I'm in Muskegon. So, and by the way, if you guys don't have this little thing, you know, at least you walk out of here with, you know, something that I find I use every day, and that's this piece of software called GS Location Changer. It's a free extension. Allows you to, you know, change your location to wherever you want, actually all over the world. So I'm in Muskegon now. So what I want to go in and type in is dental implants.
See, most people are afraid to do this when they do a webinar because they're using data that's old and they're afraid to show it to actually see what is happening in real time.
Okay, now he's still number one for dental implants, and Infinity Dental Norton Shores is number 3. Got 2 of his businesses in the area for dental implants.
Wow.
Type in the word dentist.
That's amazing right there. That's the highest level you could get.
That's the wrong thing. Why did it do that? Dentist. Come on, just the word dentist. Infinity Dental High Points Flats, number 1, just for the word dentist. We can keep going on and on, but the fact is that's exactly what's happened. He's not only maintained that all this time, in some cases he's even improved it. So obviously he's happy and I'm happy. He's my son, and one of the things, Patrick said this to me one time, and I agree 100%. You don't want to screw your son. You don't want to do, or your father, your son. You don't want to screw your son. When you're dealing with family, you better do things right. And so, we've got 4 practices for him, and we are getting ranked. Here's a grid for 1. Second place is all over. This is a little bit older grid. Another one that he's ranking number 1 in. And so what I want to do now is to show you the software that we use to get them there. But before I do that, let me mention one thing, because people might want to know, where is he in his practice today? It's been, roughly 6 months. And I was talking to him about 2 weeks ago. It was on a Sunday. And he said, we're just talking where things were, with his practices and everything. And he was telling me that right now he has a problem because he's booked through May. So this was in February, just at the beginning of February, which meant he was booked February, March, April, and May. And dentists don't want to be booked out beyond 10 days, because it's hard to get patients in. If they can't get in, they're going to start looking around for somebody else. Now, since the time we started, he has hired 5 additional dentists for his 4 practices. He's currently looking for a dentist for one of his other practices right now. And for dental implants, he's currently at the point where he's getting a little bit over $80,000 a month in revenues from his dental implants. So that's roughly a little over $1 million a year that this has brought into him by getting him ranked for dental implants. So obviously he's happy, I'm happy, but what has let that happen has been the software that Patrick and Gary and Rod have put together. I can't speak highly enough for it. And I think it was probably the best decision I ever made in my life, getting associated with them, because it changed my son's life, which in turn has changed my life as well. So let me show you what the software is and what it does, and answer any questions you might have. Patrick, you turned it on, so you probably have a question.
Yeah, and I think it's a relative question. And Mike, you might want to pop in and chime in on this too. But Dan is asking, well, that's great for a low population town of only 35,000 people to be able to do that, right? Well, you might say that, but there was a high-powered SEO company for 1.5 years couldn't do squat, right? And by being able to utilize the processes, I'm doing the same thing in Phoenix right now, and that's not a little town, but what more importantly, it proves that you can do certain things when you do it correctly, and you can get certain results. And Mike, when you're doing your training, you've got the same processes of, well, this will work, and we've proven that it works, and now you scale it, right? But if you can't prove that it works in the first place, you can't scale it, right, Mike?
Exactly. Absolutely. Yep.
And we have a client that is not a dental practice, and the client is in the construction business. I won't name what it is, but he's in Des Moines, Iowa, and which is not a big city, but it's not a small city either. We currently have his GMBs ranked for 45 words. He's got 3 of his GMBs in the top 3. I mean, they're all 3 of them, all 3 places. He's ranking for 108 keywords in the GMB, and we average anywhere from 10 to 15 new leads for him a day. So it works, not just for dentists, but it works for other businesses as well. Well, let me get into the software and show you what it is that we do and how this works. And one of the things, when you get used to it, you're going to find out that it's very easy to use. It's very fast to be able to complete the process that we do on a weekly basis for each of the properties. So the first thing I'm going to get into is a software that is called the POI software. I got to move this out of the way a little bit. It's called POI Factory. And what this does is it allows you to type in your whatever business you're looking for, and then it will find it on the map, which is very important because it grabs some information that you need to have in order for the software to work. One of the things we found is if you have somebody who's building fake GMBs and they don't have an address, it's it may be an older one that if it's not been clarified or certified with Google, it's not going to pull it up here, and there's other things you have to do to work around it. So assuming that you have a legitimate GMB, this is exactly how the software works. It pulls up the information you need, and then what we want to do is we want to go out and find some map points that we're going to search from. Now, before I do that, let me do one other thing. What we do with the software is there are 2 directions that a business, you can have a business, the type of business will determine which one of these boxes to check. For my son, who's a dentist, you have them coming to his location, and so we check the first box. If we are somebody like a plumber that goes out to a location, we would then use our location as a starting point and go to, wherever GMB or whatever location point of interest that we're, creating. And as Patrick said, we're going to use, driving directions, walking directions, cycling directions, transit, not flying. Typically what I do is when I'm in finding points of interest within the first mile, I'll do driving, walking, and cycling directions. If I go out 2 miles, I'll do driving and cycling. And if I go beyond 2 miles, I'll just keep it down to driving directions. I put my keywords in that I want associated with these driving directions, so that when we go through the process, Google is seeing these properties. There is now instead of just a driving direction from point A to point B, we are now associating a keyword with that driving direction, so that Google now has an association of this driving direction happens to have the keyword dental implants associated to it. And dentist near me associated with it, and so forth. And then we put in what anchor text that we want to do. And I usually typically will use things like near me the city, in this case, like Muskegon. And we set that up, and you have the ability to set your iframe width and your iframe height. We generally do 800 by 25 because if we're going to put implant or embed this into a website, that kind of makes a little break line so that people don't really see all the data that's behind it. They see, this line kind of as a break line, in the page. Once we've got that loaded, we are now in a position where we want to go out and find points of interest that we can create our driving directions from one point to the other. So I'm going to change this from 1 mile and go to 2 miles. And with that, I'm going to find the points of interest. So what is
Randy, can you hit the expand button on your top right hand corner and make it a little bigger?
Oh,
A couple of people have a hard time seeing it.
If I do that, I'm going to get into here. Let me move it over here a little bit because I get into all this where we're showing up.
That's good.
Okay.
Right, thanks.
So what happens is it goes up pretty quickly and it finds a bunch of locations that are within within that range of 2 miles. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send that to this tool where we can begin to work. So what did that take? 30 seconds. We're going to send that over to our tool. And now there happen to be 60 of these, 60 locations that it finds that are available for us to work with. Now, the second stage of the process that we're going to get into is setting up the driving directions with a keyword that's associated with it. We then, in the second software that we're going to talk about today, want to actually send backlinks to those driving directions so that we're empowering them, because those driving directions obviously go to our GM, to our location and our GMB to make this whole circle work. And so the next part of the step is we want to take these map URLs, you'll see come up here in a second, and so we can copy them into the next software. So we're going to take these driving directions here, attach these keywords to it, and we do that and I'll open this up so you can see it happen. No, I can't because we're going to hit this button called point to point to, finish that process. So we hit that, and now we have.
How fast that was.
I mean, it's instantaneous. We now have 60 driving directions. So to give you an example, if I could pull one of these up. But there's one of the driving directions, okay? So yep. We now have these all set up in a format that, Google understands that the driving directions from that particular location with the longitude, latitude to Infinity Dental High Point Flats and in Muskegon, Michigan, with that driving direction. So that's the first part of the process. And then, of course, you have all your iframes created down here, 1,140 iframes that you could use if you wanted to embed these into your website as we go forward. So before I get off of that, Patrick, do you have anything you want to add, or anybody have any questions?
One question was, did you mention that you can embed your keywords and any keyword, any relevant keyword, near me, associated keyword into the anchor text of these driving directions?
I had thought I did. Yeah. Well, let me show you in going back here. Let's see, I want to get to.
If you open one of the neighborhoods, there's another thing. Yes, you can, Dan, that's a great term.
Yeah.
And we're also teaching how to use neighborhoods and actually Street View as well. And doing the same thing with driving directions. So this is just one piece of what we're doing, but yes, that's an awesome idea. Neighborhoods is great, guys.
Yep,
Emerson has a question for you, Randy.
sure.
Does this work if the business does not show the address on the GMB?
It does, but we have to change the process.
Right.
We have to, what I usually do is if it's a contractor, then what I'll do is I'll go out and actually, find his, generally if he's got a DMB on him, it shows what his address is, and I'll plug the address in, even though it's not on the GMB itself. And so we're then creating these these driving directions to that address, but it doesn't, like our address here has his name in it. And that requires one more extra step that we have to take in order to add the name into the driving direction, so that there's name recognition as well.
And Randy, when you're doing that, remember, guys, that these are URLs, and then Notepad++, you can take these and change the content of the URL. So you can actually add the business name into the driving direct URL if you want to, associated with that direction. So it's all editable.
I love it when Patrick explains things because it does it so much better than I do, but that's exactly right.
And it's very powerful. Donut shops. Yeah, baby. Dan's got the right idea.
Any other questions before I move on?
No, but I just wanted to, make sure that everybody understands that, when you get these directions and you have them embeds, somebody give me a guess real quick. Oh, for Michael's benefit, donut shops. These are Google driving directions. These are Google Maps. What do you think the PADA is on these links? Anybody want to guess? What's the DAPA of a Google driving direction link that is associated with your keyword, that is keyword associated with your address? Saatchi is 100. You're real close. 98, 97. Landry said 97 is right within that 96, 97, 98 range. And the DA on the backside of it, or page authority and the domain authority, the page authority is a little bit less, right? Usually it's not quite as high as the domain authority, but who cares? You got Google with your keyword to your address. Give me a break. It's going to work. Are you embedding the maps in the website associated with the GMB? Embedding the maps in the website. Yes, you can do that very easily, which Randy just said, is when you take the embed code of these driving directions and you put them in anywhere on your website. We usually put them on the bottom, and it just looks like a line, just like a break line, because the way you create it, and it has all of those driving directions in there. Yes, I am, Dan. Hey, Randy, do you have that little DA checker I gave you the other day?
Oh, God, I don't
know.
have.
Okay. But
Yeah.
Yes, you can take any one of these driving directions and put them into a HRS or any kind of checker, and you'll get the DAPA of them. 100% guaranteed. If not, I'll personally send you a $100 bill. So I think we got all the questions answered. Go ahead, man.
Okay. Well, let's go on the second part. And this is taking longer than, because I'm explaining it, than what actually happens as we go through the process. The second tool we're going to use is a tool called Backlink Factory. You open it, or move this if I can a little bit, so that same thing, it kind of opens it up. And Backlink Factory basically allows us to do, we're going to be creating backlinks to all these driving directions. Now, let me first start off by looking at, I kind of left this blank for a reason, is to show you how, but when you're getting started, you want to start out with a business name because you want the driving directions to go to that particular, GMB. So, or you want the GMB associated with those driving directions. So in this case, it's Infinity. So,
Yeah, I want, oh, Gary, what is it you're famous for saying? You know, when we get to this point, everybody needs to go to Walmart and get what?
Depends.
Get your Depends, and you don't need to be 60 and 80 to get them.
so we're gonna now hit the search for my son's practice. It's gonna go out there and it's gonna identify this and say, okay, this is what we found. Is this the correct map? And I'm gonna say, yes, it is. So it's gonna generate the map URL for us. And now the next thing we want to do is simply say, okay, let's generate the rest of the information. So it goes through and identifies and creates the rest of the information as it goes around. I don't know why, maybe I shouldn't have turned that off, that we're getting, because it will always pull in this information as well. So I hit generate again, see if, oh, come on. What did I do? I messed it up when I hit it twice. There we go.
No, you got your lat long, it'll pull in, all the data that we can pull from the maps in there. Sometimes when you're on Zoom, it just kind of whacks out your software, Randy,
Okay.
right? But it'll pull it all in there so that you have it, just like you showed in the previous, using POI, it pulls all that data in, you have it all there, and then it pre-populates the screen and everything that we're trying to do with that data.
Right. And so what happens is once that, once it populates, and we won't wait around, just watch that happen. But then we go over to our sheets, which is this, and we populate. When I do my maps, this is where Patrick was mentioning that you can put a lot of information in these particular folders. When I'm doing it for my GMBs, I'm kind of using just a basic strategy, which is to put all that information in to the map in all three folders. But you can use more advanced strategies and be loading in your keywords and other things into this particular these boxes as you build them out. But what the software is allowing us to do is we can identify various keywords that we want added into be attached to our backlink. And so I have the keywords here that are all associated with dental implants, and I have those as my anchor text. Now, if you're doing local, you can go ahead and enter a particular city if you're in a particular city. So I can do, for example, Muskegon, Mich, and I can merge those two things automatically. So a click of a button. So if I had multiple cities in here, it would just merge those and repeat that for the next city and the next city and so forth. So that allows us to create the local entity if you want. The second thing is I also like to, you can use in the third column, you actually have the ability to, again, add as many keywords as you want, but there is a relationship that between the number of keywords here, the number of sheets on file, or the number of keywords here, and then the total number of URLs that affects the total count. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. So I like to have for example, a keyword that's maybe a little bit harder to rank for, and it's hard to get into Google, but I can get it in here, which is, dentist near me. I could do dentist implant near me, all various type of things. You have control over the keywords being used as anchor text. You have control over whether you want to use a custom keyword stack, which I have these keywords up here as a custom keyword stack. I could use, instead of a custom keyword stack, I could use my primary keywords as my stack. I can use a folder link stack if I want. I can randomize it. So you have a lot of control in your stacking of these various elements that you, depending on what your strategy is. Again, I'm going to be using this for, as I said, the driving directions for GMB. But if this weren't a GMB and it was a website like a G site or YouTube or any of those type of things, I could put those in. The links for those would be sending, backlinks directly from this software, creating those backlinks from this software over to a property itself. But my discussion here is going to stay right around the GMB. So what we're going to do, and assume that I had just done this, and rather than, took all the time, this process of getting to this point probably would take me under 5 minutes. Once I have these URLs, I'm going to copy them. And now I'm going to take them over to my Backlink Factory, and I'm going to plug them in here. And now those are all the URLs that I would be making backlinks to. Now, our software, we don't want to get too aggressive because we don't want Google to, penalize us, and so slow and easy is kind of the rule for the day. And what we've done is that we've set the software up so that it gives us a warning. If we're exceeding 1,000 rows per sheet that we're going to be creating, it gives us a warning. And then that would be these words times these times this word over here times 3, and that would be times that would be the number of, times 3 is the number of row counts that you would be facing. So in my case, I have a choice. I can eliminate one of these, for an example. Let me cut that out. I gotta just delete, I guess. I delete that out, and I'm now down to 1,080. So that's one way I can start reducing it. I could take one of my driving directions here. Let's see. Let me go just to this point here.
You're losing your sound a little bit, Randy.
Okay, I'm sorry. What I was saying is I can, and I gotta shrink this down just a little bit because there we go. Okay. So I'm going to take some of these driving directions, and I'm going to reduce that in order to try to get my number down below the 1,000 level. So when I did that, I'm now down to 972 links. So for my ability to send backlinks out, everything's set right now. So I'm going to use my custom keyword stack, my keywords as anchor text. So it'll be going out here. And the last thing we have to do with the software is we have to publish these URLs. And you'll notice that right now that's blank. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload those. But before I do, I've got to open up that particular High Point Flats thing so you can see them coming in. Should have set this up ahead of time. I apologize. No, wrong one. Let's see. driveway flats. Okay, open that up. Go to my Google Sheets. Open that up. Okay. So with that said, I'm now going to upload and start creating those sheets. And what will happen is you will see momentarily, they will start coming into here. See, dental implant, that particular Google spreadsheet was created, and it's going to go right on through and add those to it. Now, let me open an old one while we're here. For an example, open up this sheet just to show you what I mean is within each one of these sheets, you're going to have a map with a particular
Keyword.
There we go. And then you're going to have the map itself. And then with the other keyword, dentist near me. So if we go on down this, there we go. These are all the links that had been created for this one particular map. And in this case, we had 950 keywords that were being used in combination with setting up the map to each one of those driving directions. So it resulted in in this case, 950 links times 3. So you almost, a little bit under 3,000 links that are being associated with your Google My Business property. So I'm just about done here.
I mean, while you guys are watching this, I know it's like watching paint dry, but I mean, when you see what's happening
finished.
and you see all the things that are being generated with the power of the backlinks, how many of you think this is pretty powerful stuff and can actually do and move the needle because you've got the power of Google behind you doing your work for you, right? So it allows you to work less and get more value out of it so that you can do other things that you need to do for your customers and your clients, right? And this really, someone asked, the learning curve on this. Literally, the learning curve is if you can watch what Randy's doing, and he's got videos on this, right? And just follow it step by step. And in the Skype rooms, Michael, you can attest if you're still there to the Skype rooms and a part of the Skype rooms that we have, right? You've been in them for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, I'll just jump in here real quick. This is using Google properties. This is literally rank your shit. This is amazing. So you're using Google properties. This is powering it up, and then having the software be able to create all this. I particularly liked how y'all created all the different driving directions. And that is super powerful in and of itself, just that one piece. But all of this, and you put it all together and you're using this automation, this is freaking torture. Chain me to the wall.
One thing, being kind of anal that I am on some things, I wanted to take a look at how long it would take you to do this manually. And so I took the time it would take me to create backlinks. I did it manually. I did the time to do this whole process manually. And what I discovered is it would take 54 man hours, it would take 54 full-time employees to do what we're doing with this software in a year, doing this, a half hour, every once a week. 54 full-time employees. If you went out and hired somebody at $6 an hour overseas or $4 an hour overseas, but you had to hire 54 of them, yeah, it's insane. It's insane. And for me, as I'm going out and marketing this, you know, the thing when I go out and talk to a potential customer, I talk to them and say, you know, the guy who, you know, you've had in the past doing your SEO, or maybe currently doing your SEO, you know, I'm not saying he's not really good at what he's doing, okay, but he doesn't have 54 guys working for him. And because I'm licensed with the proprietary software, he would have to hire 54 people to do what I'm doing in order to get the results that I'm getting. And this is why we can get the results so much quicker than you can using other methods. So, I mean, it's just very powerful. It has proved itself to me and my son and other businesses that we have. And unless there's any other questions, I'm ready to turn it back to you, Patrick.
No, it's good. A couple of questions that people are sharing and asking with us, you know, is there's two pieces of software. The first one is the driving directions. Like Michael said, you know, being able to get those driving directions and points of interest where Google associates you. Now, this is for local, right, guys? Don't, if you're not doing any local, I'm not sure that POI would help you a lot. It's, you know, it's still a Google property, but, you know, for local, you got the POI that gives you the driving directions and the links, and then you got the Backlink Factory that takes those driving directions and high powers and steps up the value of those with another Google property, which is a Google backlink on a sheet to a Google map, you know, which is got the direction to where we want to point people to rank the keywords for, right? So the two of these go hand in hand, right? You can, if you're not doing local, you buy Backlink Factory for your affiliate, you buy Backlink Factory for your national, for your Etsy, you know, for anything that you want to get ranked, you would buy and have the Backlink Factory doing the work for that particular product. And if you're doing the local, the two of these things together, like Michael said, it's just an absolute, you know, annihilation program. And what we can do and what you don't even see of what we teach in the Skype room and on our videos and on our sessions with everybody, just like, you know, we all know Michael's great, but what many of us don't know is how great he is when he's in his mastermind, because that's stuff that we don't share publicly, right? But it's very, very powerful. We know it works. And, you know, is it inexpensive? No, but you got one customer. Let me just share, you know, one way of getting business. So if I can share one way for you guys to get business, would that make, you want me to just share one item, one way to get business with this? Just one, right? Anybody want one way?
Yeah, give me a way.
And it won't cost you anything, right? And you don't have to sell anything, Michael, right? So if you, Randy, pull up a map, any map.
Okay.
So, and any keyword, I don't care what it is. Michael, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
In the map pack, there are what? 3 people that get seen, right?
Yep.
Okay. How much business does number 4 get?
Not as much as number 1.
Okay. Or number 5, right?
Exactly. No one sees it.
Okay.
No one, hardly anybody goes down there and looks.
We're too lazy, right?
Yeah.
And so we've got some people in our group, and we've done tests with this, and Michael, you know who they are. They will go and scroll down to the number 4, 5, or 6 position in the maps, right? You know where I'm going with this, right?
Yep.
Okay. You don't tell them what you're doing. You just freaking do it, right? You take the number 4, number 5 position, you work it until you move them up into 3-pack.
Yep.
Right. What's the next thing that's going to happen when you move them up into the 3-pack, Michael?
What's that, Patrick?
You're going to call them. You're going to say, I was looking for your service and I didn't see you, so I thought I would help you out and get you into the position where people will see you. Go check your map and see where you're ranking.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And when they look and they see where they're ranking and you just told them that you put them there, how hard of a sale is that going to be when you ask them, Michael, would you like to stay in the 3-pack or go back to number 6?
Exactly.
Right?
Yep. Yeah,
So
I'm actually doing that right now. My guys and my mastermind know this, and my ladies too. Can't forget the ladies in there. And
Mhm.
I'm doing a live test right now. And what I did is I actually went to page 4 and page 5
No,
and grabbed
that's
people
fine
that
too.
would never rank.
Right.
Never rank.
Say, that's even a more extreme example.
Yeah.
But these guys in the 4 and the 5 position, they're spending money. Look at, they got
They're
reviews.
spending tons of money
Right.
to be here.
Right.
And
All
they're
we
not
have
even
to do-
showing up to be viewed. So no, this is a genius strategy.
Right. And so you don't even have to go out prospecting. Your prospects are all right there. You spend a little bit of time, you get trained, you get through it. We help you. You get them moved up. They get to see their spot. Man, they're excited. They're not going to let you walk away without paying you. Right.
Exactly.
So it's pretty crazy stuff.
It's insane stuff. And you know what? I think Emerson just asked, well, what happens if they don't buy? How do you get them back to 6th position? Here's what you do. You pick the next guy in line and you boost him up and it pushes him right out. You unhook all your links and you reconnect it up to someone else.
And because all of your links, like Michael said, you're pinpointing those keywords to that individual. Remember when I said earlier, all those keywords are in the links. So you can either use a buffer page, which we use, Mike, a lot, right?
Yep.
And push all that juice through the buffer page. And all you have to do is change the buffer page link out to anybody that you want, and all that juice is going to go to them. Or you just simply, go into a tool, copy and replace. You replace their name and their information in the link with your name, the new name and their information, and you hit copy and go and paste and go, and boom, they're gone, and the new people are going to start to get the juice.
Exactly. It's a common tactic. I used to teach my guys. I haven't actually taught it in a while. It's called, at least I call it, switchbox SEO. And
Right.
you just switch off the last person, you switch on the new person. And one of the best methods that I found is the walk away selling movement. When you go in, you meet with someone, or you call someone up, or you get them up on Zoom and you're talking about, hey, I got you ranked here. Hey, not a problem. Don't want to do this,
Yep.
not a problem. I'm gonna do it to your competitor. See you later. And a lot of times they'll be like, whoa, wait just a second. Just hold on a second. Let me find that money that I was gonna, yeah, people do it.
Takeaway.
It's
So-
a takeaway. People love it. I mean, I gotta tell you this, in my own software, in my own product. I actually really tried to get rid of this guy the other day. I'm not joking. I tried to get him to please go away.
Really?
And the harder that I walked away, the more this guy chased me down. Like, let me have it. I'm like, no, go away. I don't want you in my software. And he ended up buying the biggest package. I was like, I hate myself right now.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad about it, right?
I mean, I really did. I wanted the Hunger Game. I was like, great. Thank you. Now I've got a problem in support.
Exactly. No, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun when you know what? It's fun when you do that, Mike, though. It really is, right?
It is. It is.
You do the work, you get somebody there that hasn't been there, and you talk to them and you say, look what I did. You want to stay there. You're not selling,
Yeah.
right? You're providing a valuable benefit to somebody who really needs that and couldn't achieve that, like Randy's son couldn't achieve it with people he was paying.
Exactly.
So you're just taking out the trash, which is the other SEO company, and putting yourself into place.
Precisely. And I think I saw someone in the chat ask, how much would you charge for something like this? For this type of package, honestly, I would go for $4,000. And that's on the lower end. You can ask for a lot more money, especially big cities. You're going
Right.
after big cities, big niches. I would start at $4,000 for this type of service, honestly,
Easily.
because you're doing an amazing service and you're getting them ranked up there. And once you get them in that 3-pack, it's gold. They're not having to pay you for every call unless you do that. If you do pay per lead, you could do that. If you're renting out their ranking, that's it. Set them up, $4,000 a month.
Yeah, and like
Kill it,
what Gary
slay
just said, somebody asked, if we had a done for you system, and we do. And, we have ranges, from $150 a month up, and we'll do it for you. But,
Yeah,
that's $1,800 at $150,
yeah,
and we'll do it all. You might as well buy the software, the same price, and do it yourself and keep all
Yeah.
the money.
yeah, exactly.
Right? But we'll do it. So one other thing that Gary wanted to throw in here is this little, what is that? This looks, you ever heard of the triple Lindy?
Oh man, now that brings back memories. Old school. Yes. Yes.
Right? Right? Triple Lindy, right? So that's a fat guy on a diving board that, kind of 30-foot diving board, the triple Lindy, and he does it. It's a commercial. It's
It was
cool.
back to school. Back to school. That was the movie. Not
That
old
was it,
school. Back to school. That was it. Back to school.
Right. So what we're going to do is a bonus here, because nobody's ever, I guarantee you, unless you've been or associated with me or Gary in our rooms, Michael, you never saw this.
The bonus calendar. No, I don't think I've seen this one yet.
Well, we're going to let Gary pop on here and explain what this is. For the first 25 people that pick up the software today, we're going to build this for you, which is, let Gary share what he's done here, Michael. And
Yeah,
this is
get up here, Gary, and real quick here, guys. They're building this for you.
this is the depends moment Gary was talking about.
Yeah, and nobody, this is something brand new. It's probably the first SEO technique that's come out since the buffer document came out. And basically what this is, and we're going to do, let me clarify, we're going to do a single stack. You're looking at a triple stack right there, which is a 5x15. So if you look at it, and look at the blue line at the top. I know the picture is kind of small. The blue link, first link, is the only one that has a target. The vertical stacking is actually taking the share link from the first event, and we're linking to that first event with the yellow. The green is linking to the yellow. The one below that's linked, and so on, for 15 levels deep in this image. Now, the key to it is we could change a single link that from our target, and it changes the entire matrix, and you only have to change one link, so it works like a buffer. The other factor involved with this is set to auto repeat every Monday through Friday for eternity. So you only have to do this one time, and it lasts forever. And you can alter it with a single link. Does everybody understand that? If it isn't clear, let me know.
Yeah, you only have to change one link at the beginning of the chain, and it changed the whole stack.
That's it. Now, if we come down to the bottom of the stack, which is kind of a gray, but it looks gray to me, there's no backlink going to that gray. So if I was going to use Backlink Factory, I would take the share link from this event and stick it in Backlink Factory and backlink this entire thing. I can go as deep as I want. Now, there's another factor that you can't see. If I was doing a live demo of the process, I would share with you that each of these has 4 to 5 attachments into them. The attachments all are authority attachments. Anybody in here ever heard of Google News or Wikipedia or YouTube or Google Scholar? Give me a one if you've heard of
I
it.
have.
Okay.
YouTube, what's that?
Yeah, what's
YouTube,
that?
What's that?
Do
So
they have any authority?
So
Yeah.
let me ask you this. if I share a way that you could get a couple hundred links from each of them, all fully with as much authority as you can get, because Google says those 4 sites are authority on everything. Does anybody not realize that they're considered authority?
Look, Gary, I think I want to ask you to do something here.
Sure.
I've been really tempted by it, but everybody in here, I'm sure, has seen Jerry Maguire. I just want everybody to start screaming out in chat, show me the money. That's where I'm like, I'm looking for my wallet right now, because honestly, I want to throw the cash at you. Just take my damn money.
Okay.
Uh,
Let's get Rod to put the links in there.
Does anybody have any final questions about the stack at all?
No, we don't have any questions. We're just amazed, and we would not know
Yeah,
what questions to
honestly,
ask anyway.
it's pornorgraphic. I'm looking at it right now. I'm seeing Google porn. Okay, and
Okay. All righty, guys.
Yeah.
If we build it, they will come.
exactly.
So-
Randy's like, we started out with Michael going to confession. Now I understand why.
All right, guys, for the people on the call, we promised everybody 50 coins just for staying. But as well as that, the first 25 people that buy this week, whether it's from today or throughout the promotion, we are going to build a quad stack for you. All you have to provide, we have a form for you, is you'll have to provide the niche and the keywords you wish to target for that niche. I will personally, or one of my VAs that help me, will personally make all the authority docs to attach to it, as long as you provide the keywords and the niche and the target. Is everybody real clear on that?
Yes, sir.
Is that a win-win?
You gotta think about it this way. It's like trying to get a sip out of a
Emerson,
fire hose.
we are just finishing up a page to do a done for you stacks. They take up to an hour or so to build them, and then they last forever. So I have to pay somebody a decent fee to help create them, or I have to do them. So I don't have a price down locked on. I can't answer that because I can't see that right now, Donald.
61. Oh, wow. Sorry, guys.
Patrick's in the background screaming, show me the money.
Yeah,
Hey,
No,
and
that's actually, no,
there's-
Michael, that's actually somebody on the call Skyping me independently to say, shut up and collect the money.
guys, I can't post this in the chat for everybody, but I'm gonna drop this in the panelists. If y'all can drop this out for everybody to see. Y'all were asking at the beginning, what are my bonuses? So here's my bonuses. Since we've already dropped the show me type of thing. All right, so here we go. If you get the lifetime platinum single lifetime on that page, I'm going to give you 100,000 credits with my tools. Now you got to have an active subscription with this. So if you're not a Viper member already, I'm gonna give you a free month of platinum. Shit, platinum's gone. My bad. I'm gonna give you a free month of Kraken. Oh man, I gotta dial that one back. I'm gonna give you a free month of Kraken.
I'm in.
All right, so free month of Kraken, and then if you're not a Kraken user, I'm going to drop that down to 237 a month. So if you want to continue after that, continue using the credits, it's 237 a month. That's discount right now. Everybody else is paying 297 a month for Kraken. So that's a really good deal. Second thing is, if you just get the maps point of interest, I'm gonna give you 1 month of Google Viper with 5,000 credits. The hybrid Backlink Factory, 20,000 credits with Kraken of 1 free month. And then the monthly Backlink Factory is 5,000 credits with 1 month of Google Viper. Now, the big key here is using CTR with these links, which is huge. Adding in CTR to these particular links, the driving directions, all the
my
Google
gosh.
properties, it's a killer thing. And within Kraken, you've got 25 campaigns, whereas Google Viper, you're limited to 10. So it's a really good deal adding that in, and then all the credits. So if you're a Platinum member, a Kraken member, a Viper member, and you pick up that lifetime deal, it's 100,000 jams into your account, which is awesome.
Well, Michael, can you imagine? I mean, it's hard to imagine when you take CTR and you apply that to driving directions, what potentially could happen, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane adding that in. And anytime you use, especially CTR with Google properties,
Mm-hmm.
it's just another level to the SEO porn. It's really good.
I know.
I want that to sound really bad after I said that, so I tried to pause there, but I am so bad. I'm in so much trouble already.
I know. And I thought, you went to confession on what day?
You know what? It's tonight. I'm going in for an exorcism tonight.
It's tonight.
We will release that demon.
So anyone who gets the hybrid or the lifetime is what Michael's talking about. The hybrid is what Gary is talking about for the bonus there. And also you get the TRS coins for anything else that we might have that you might want to use that for to buy, some of the other one of 27 different tools that we have. Michael knows we've been building these things since 17. Michael?
Yeah, you know what? I think the saying goes, I'm just going to totally misappropriate this since I've got to go to confession anyways. They say on the 8th day, God created the Marine Corps. I would say on the 9th day, God created the ranking factory. So
yeah, we're right there with you. Ryan, do not buy on that link. Use the link that was in that Rod put in the chat. Okay, that's got the appropriate linking structure back to Michael. We do have a page for POI, but we only want you to use the links that we gave you. Don't go to the page. Okay, just bind to the link that was in that short code. So, wow, this is too much fun, Mike. What else can we do? What can we give away?
You know what? I've already got myself in trouble, so I'm just trying to keep my trap shut before I end up really getting myself in even more hot water.
So I think I saw somebody say, Michael, keep talking. Yeah, so
keep getting in trouble. That's the real thing here. I'm just gonna stuff this candy bar the rest of the way down my hatch.
There you go.
So I don't say anything else that gets me in hot water.
Yeah, somebody's already got Backlink Factory. If you already have Backlink Factory, with what Michael's giving away, I'd probably buy it again. No shit, man. But yeah, if you have Backlink Factory and you could just pick up POI through the link here, that would be great as well for Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah,
we're going to do something special today. Even though we announced 25, anybody that buys today, even if we go past the 25, we'll go ahead and honor that. So
just today, we'll build a quad stack, even if we exceed the first 25. So we don't have anybody that was number 26, 27, 28, and just was too slow on the switch. We'll go ahead and honor that today.
No, that's really generous.
Absolutely. Pretty sure I bought BL back in 2019. You're not even a rookie at that juncture, 2019. But as long as you have it, it's still good and it still works and it's updated and you should be okay. So let me one last question, Mike, for everybody in here. Randy is not a professional like Michael is, or semi nitwit professional like I am. So how about everybody just give Randy, you know, a attaboy, a thumbs up, a 10, you know, whatever it is for him coming on in and, you know, putting himself out here, you know, to be vulnerable, to share with you from your perspective, not mine, not Michael's, not Randy's, not, you know, or Gary's, but from Randy's perspective. And he is you. Let's just remember that, right? Randy is you. And if Randy can do it, as old as he is, talking to other old guys with him, there's nobody in here that cannot do what Randy did, given time and effort. And as long as you eat the entire chicken or the entire cow, you're going to get results. Now, you know, Michael, we can never say that you're going to be in the middle of LA, you know, for boob replacements and get on number one.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know, but that's not generally most of our niches, right? So you're going to, you know, you're going to be able to succeed with all that we're doing. And you, especially with what Michael just gave you, he gave you an atom bomb. So
yeah, and Randy, that was a great job. That was really good. You're a pro. Honestly, you kept your composure. You didn't cry. I didn't see any, you know, safe blanket. I didn't see you pull out any kind of safety blanket to put on and or crawl in a corner and get into a safe spot, you know. So
he
good
did
job.
put the pacifier away before he came on.
I'm 74 years old, so all you youngins, you know, you maybe learn something from some of the old part like me, right?
You know what? I sent out an email to everybody last night, and I told the story about how I went down to see my great aunt Helen years ago, and it was funny because she's you know, French. So when I went down, I was like, "Hey, hey, Aunt Helen." She was like, "Excuse me, it's Helene." I'm like, "Oh, excuse me, my bad, Helene." Right? So she's 94 years old at that time, and I walked in, and as soon as I walked through the door, she was like, "Hey, by the way, if you want to get up on my Wi-Fi, here's my password." She had a desktop, a laptop, a tablet, her cell phone. She set up her own Wi-Fi. She was on top of everything. My jaw hit the floor. I was like, oh my gosh, the 3 remaining teeth in the lower part of my mouth actually fell out and rolled around in the kitchen for a few minutes before I was able to stick them back in there. I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Who are you? And what have you done with an old person? You know, 94 years old. I had no idea that that she would be on top of it. And she was, until the day that she died. She passed, let's see, 2 years ago, and she was 99.
Wow.
Yeah.
Still doing social posting?
She was up. She had her laptop. She was up on Facebook. She was doing social. I could not believe it. I was like, that's an older person, 99, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. So it was funny because her sister was 101 when she died.
Oh, wow.
And she died 7 months before her. And yeah.
So is that in your bloodline then, Michael?
What's that?
Your aunt is in your bloodline.
Yeah.
So are we expecting to see you, you know, at the same ripe old age?
Listen, I gotta tell you what, I'm happy that I made it to 40, especially the way that I eat. Good Lord. I got more chins than a Chinese phone book from all the junk food I've been eating. So I'm sorry to misappropriate anything there. You mentioned Chinese food at the beginning of this, so I'm just playing along here, Patrick. Just keeping it going, man.
Quite all right, bud. We appreciate it.
But I wish I could live that long. But I gotta tell you what, if I live that long, it'll be a sheer miracle. It will be God angry at me. He'll say, "Look, you little shit. This is my revenge on you." Like I said, the more I talk, the deeper the hole's getting here. So
exactly. So someone was asking what they can use the TRS coins for. So you'll get those, you'll hook up with Randy, and then at any time that we have something for sale, whether it's $50, $100, $200, whatever it is, you can redeem those for face value. So was it $75? Gary's what you said?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You know what? I think if there's anybody on here right now that does it, I think you should probably, with what Michael gave away, I think you should double it.
You're twisting my arm?
No, I just think, we got a great bunch of people here answering questions. We've had some fun. I think, we just instruct Rod that when anybody calls that says that they bought, the program, have them just double the coins.
Let's go with it. Let's go with it.
But that's only on the webinar after.
Anybody
not
that
on
doesn't
replay.
buy, can still get the coins. But anybody that buys will double it. How would that go?
But sounds good. What do you think, Michael?
No, I'm shaking my head here because I'm seeing SEO porn going down in here, and I just can't be on board with this. This is degradation of a live call here.
Woo!
Well, that's what's fun when you're doing it live and people come when you're live. That's why you come. That's why I go to all the live ones that I can.
You know what? That is true. That is true. I get so many people to ask me, "Hey, is it going to be recorded?" Because,
Right.
I don't know why I'm talking like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Is it Mr. Burns? Whatever it is, But
It could be worse. It could be Mr. Ed.
Okay.
Very nice.
So Diane, let me just answer one question, Michael. Diane's asking, you're confusing me with 3 options. Sorry. Okay. The platinum is a single pay. One pay, single. A lot of people want to have a little bit of a lower output of cash. So they're willing to take a lower payment and some monthly payment. And that's what the hybrid is. There's some upfront money, but then there's a lower payment than the regular monthly payment, which would be higher than that. And that's the third option, which is monthly. So we've been very successful, Michael, over the years. That our hybrid program is, we invented it, I think, I'm not sure, but it's the staple of how we really get most of the sales, is because a lot of people want lifetime. That's great. Michael, do you like lifetimes? Not as a buyer, but as a seller?
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're sick. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. We go broke with lifetimes, right?
Oh yes. That's why I
Right?
no longer offer them, because, you sell one and, then you're taking care of the people for the rest of their life. And you're like, oh, I
Right.
should have sold it to them when they were 90. Damn it.
Right.
But
So that's why we came up with the hybrid option, so that we get, a little bit of upfront to pay the developer, and then people get a little bit of a lower payment
exactly.
over a period of time.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, listen, lifetimes are difficult because, like I said, you've got to take care of the people. And when I did my platinum lifetimes back in the day, it was, oh man, I'm gonna offer this platinum lifetime, and it's a good cash inflow. It helps pay, programming costs. But then, when you've had fun in Vegas and you end up walking out the door and you're like, oh man, I just got robbed. And and then 7 years later down the road, you're still doing support and you're doing calls and you're seeing this person every time, and you see this person spending money on other people, and they've got monthlies that they're doing other things with, and they paid you this large sum of money 7 years ago.
Right.
And you're like, oh man, what did I do?
Listen, we still have, I'm not going to go into it, but we have people that are paying us like under $20 for some things that are now thousands.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I know the feeling. And people are like, hey, do you have any more lifetimes? So I'm like, you know what? Here's a nail. Feel free to drive it through my left eyeball. I already got a headache. Why not? Right? But honestly, I mean, people love to get lifetimes because they pay one time.
Yeah,
and then they don't have to worry about monthlies. They don't have to worry about, paying that out every month or every year, and I get it. I understand for the buyers, it's amazing, but for the sellers, be honest with you, it's hell. It's hell on earth.
Yeah, it's not so good, right?
Because when you say lifetime, you mean 7 years down the road, 14 years down the road. This isn't JV Zoo shit. And this is what happens on JV Zoo. They say, oh, here's a lifetime. After you go through the funnel where you feel like you feel dirty. You feel like you were just hanging out in a crack house. All right. Because you went through 17 layers of funnels and you finally paid $180 for this product that you spent 45 minutes listening to all their shit. And it's a lifetime product. And then 6 months later, everything's gone.
Mhm.
You know, the site's gone, the tools are gone, everything is gone. And you're like, oh man.
Right.
But you know, the people took their money and ran. But when you and I and other marketers that have, you know, successful and, you know, reputable businesses,
And some
we say
moral.
lifetime,
Right.
we mean lifetime.
Yeah. It was kind of funny the other day, somebody, you know, came up from the graveyard and we were promoting something and they said, hey, I still have this coupon. I told her, I said, go ahead and try and use it. It's like, you know, but it's cool. I like it. You know, that's integrity. You got the coupon, you want to use it. So
Yeah, I sold a video Viper. Let's see here, back in December. No, 2018. It was March 2018.
yeah.
And for $97 one-time fee. Oh, I looked at it, it actually made me kind of physically sick. I thought, okay, I'm going to projectile vomit because here's this guy just crawled out of the woodwork. It's been what, 5 years? 5 years later, he comes on, he's like, hey, by the way, I see that you got, you know,
Right.
this latest tool updated and, you know, my access isn't working. Can you give me new access? I'm like, sure, here you go. Here's the hammer and nail. Go for my right eyeball this time, you know? But that's what happens. You sell it and you got to honor it.
Yeah, pretty, you know, sometimes you do certain things that you don't want to do, but you know, when you revamp an entire process in a program, you know, then you do have to try to charge a little bit more because you revamped it, or you could have let it die.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
Exactly. So
Patrick and Michael, you want to remind everybody about the discount coupon code?
You're telling us to remind somebody about something you already know about.
Yes, the discount coupon code. I'm gonna
Well,
put
go
it in,
ahead.
gonna put it in the chat one more time. Oops.
Well, go ahead.
It's oops, hold on, let me go back up to it here.
yeah, that's true, Emerson. That's true, man. It's all about reputation in this business.
-PAT is the coupon code.
Oh, MB-Pat. I'm sorry. I got lost for a minute what you're talking about. That's Michael Bose-Pat, MB. You
And
notice you have a little.
I'll put it on the bottom
Yeah.
one more time.
But Emerson had a good point too, Michael.
Yeah, he did. He did. Sorry, I got stuck in my bitching there on the lifetime. Oh, but but it, you know, as
So what do you
a,
have coming up next, Mike?
what's that?
What do you have coming up? What are you working on?
Oh, let's see here. Since we have Rod Alley in here, I'm gonna use your first name, Rod. I'm working on something called the Rods of God.
Oh, GZP.
Oh yeah, Project Mayhem.
Wow.
Don't ask me what it is. I'm just using a cool name because it sounds badass.
No, because you like watching the commercials on TV for that insurance company.
Which one, Geico or?
Yeah, for Mayhem. The guy. Yeah.
I miss that part. No, I haven't seen the.
Oh no, I
I've
think
seen
it's
that
Geico or something. He wrecks everything, and you know his nickname is I create mayhem, but we pay
Mayhem.
something like that. I don't know.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, you know what? Actually, interestingly enough, I got this from my uncle. So my uncle was up visiting, and a couple of months ago, and he used to work for NASA, and so I was thinking, you know, of this tool that I wanted to create, and I was talking to him about, you know, what I was doing, and he was like, "Oh, you know what? That sounds like this space weapon." I was like, "Space weapon? What's it called?" He said, "The Rods of God," and I went, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "This has to be fake." And I looked it up,
Look it
and
up. No, it's not fake, right?
yeah, it's a basically like a rail gun from space.
Right.
And they
Right.
said one shot from this would have imploded the World Trade Center in one shot. It
Oh,
would have
wow.
imploded both buildings in one shot from space. So it's quite an interesting thing. But of course, the military says, "Oh, we're in development with it."
Right.
And my uncle was like, "I worked for NASA in the '80s. We already had it built."
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
"Of course."
Development. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So look up Rods of God, guys, if y'all want to see
Okay.
a wicked weapon.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go trademark that name right away.
Rods of God.
I'm gonna build me a quad stack by the rods of God.
Yeah.
When you're ready to go, baby.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
We'll have it ready.
Yeah, you know what? Back in the day, I remember this guy, and he was working with Network Empire. Now I'm not going to say who it was, but he was working with Network Empire back in the day, and he created something that he called the basement. And he just called it the basement. And I was talking with another SEO guy. Actually, I think it was Bradley Benner.
Mhm.
And Bradley Benner over at Semantic Mastery. And I believe this was Benner. So this was like circa 2015.
Right.
And he was telling me about this guy that had created something called the basement. Basically, it was a huge backlink tool that he had created, like in the basement, and he pointed it at one thing and it ranked it completely up to the top, but then left no trace of where the backlinks came from. Completely untraceable juicing, like web laundering on another level.
Right.
So when I was thinking about the Rods of God, that's what I was thinking about, is recreating something like the basement to where you could power a property up, but hide the backlink structure in such a linear way that no one could use like whereitgoes.com to see where the backlink power would come from,
Right.
see where the juice structure would come from, and hide it completely, but rank anything that you want by pointing it at.
Well, let me give you a tip. When you're building that, you can call us and use our tools, because you do realize that none of the backlinks that we create show up in Ahrefs.
Oh, really? In Ahrefs, you're not showing up on there at all.
The Google properties do not. I mean, it's rare that they show up.
Interesting.
Very rare they might show up. A Google site might show up every now and then.
Yeah.
But we build millions and millions and millions of backlinks, and nobody knows where they're coming from because they don't show up. Test it. Try it.
I will give it a test. Yeah, I'll definitely give it a
I'll
test.
give you one. I'll give you one to try, Michael,
Yeah.
because I've been playing with this myself.
And it's a beautiful thing because nobody can recreate what you did. And when you annihilate something, they can't find out who did it or where it came from.
Yeah, you
I didn't
can
mean that in a
actually
bad
take
way. Trust me.
you can actually take a G site and put a sub page on it, and nobody can find the sub page. And so you can actually put anything on that sub page you want to hide from public eyes, but Google's going to come and read it every 15 minutes.
Very nice. But you know what? Think about it. Those
Yeah.
guys were on top of this. You know,
Yeah,
the
really.
Network Empire guys were real wizards, and Sue Bell and all of them. So perhaps they had first started messing around with something like that. And that's what they
Well, you
did with the
know,
basement.
Matt DeCruz was with Sue Bell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got DMT. He bought Network Empire out, so he owns Network Empire now.
Wow.
And he created Digital Marketers Toolbox DMT.
Yep. I remember that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Real ninjas.
Uh-huh. I mean, those guys back in those days, you think if anybody thinks what we just shared today was complicated, try to go back and do what they did when we were doing that, 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
That's totally ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
I saw one guy do things. Brian, his name was Brian, and he did one thing for me one day for 45 minutes, and I just said, I'm not even going to pay you to do that. It's too complicated. I want you to get sick. I'll just forget it.
I mean, without the tools, without creating this automation, it is a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, no question.
Creating these stacks, creating these driving directions, the backlinks, everything that y'all do within your tool is a step above everybody else. You know, I'm not sure if everybody knows that, how ninja this is.
Yeah, appreciate that.
And it really is. And you two guys, and all three of y'all, really all of y'all, top of the line SEOs. I'm not just saying that. Y'all really are. I've known you for a long time.
Yep.
You know,
We-
so top of the
we
line
know each
SEOs. And I mean, look at
Good.
Patrick. He's only 29.
Can I tell you, I age well.
Yeah, you know what? I think you dyed that beard, man. I think it was really a darker color and you just dyed it. And you were trying to pass yourself off as more, you know.
More distinguished and LD.
Exactly. You're really a young guy in there, man. You're trapped in that body. I can feel it.
I feel trapped too, bud. I'm telling you.
Don't we all?
Yeah. So anyway, any last questions? I mean, we could sit here and yak and have fun all day long, but bottom line is, got to make some money. You got to have the tools. Got to have the right tools to make things happen. And I don't want anybody. One of the things what we do, Mike, is that we build this stuff, and Randy does a great job, and then somebody buys it and says your tool sucks. No, you're not me. You're not Randy. You got to do it your way.
Exactly.
Right? We teach you, Mike teaches you, we give you the tools. The mechanic buys Snap-on tools, but he's got to know how to use the Snap-on tools to fix your car. So training and being part of a group and listening, is almost half the battle, if not more.
Exactly. And did you happen to drop this in? I'm not sure. So people left, and I'm not sure you actually dropped this in. Did you drop in that link to the Skype group that y'all were going to share?
Oh, no.
Yeah, y'all totally forgot it. What the hell?
Well,
I didn't see that link go in the chat.
Well, I can put it in there.
Yeah, drop that link in. Everybody that left early, you snooze, you lose. We saved the best for last for y'all.
Yeah, what was it? What was I talking about?
That was wasn't that the one that y'all added me to, the AI group?
AI group?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of that? I mean, we could sit here for a little bit of time talking about AI and what's coming, but we have a little chat group. We just bring all new AI stuff in there, anything that we could find, bring it in, talk about it, see what's moving and grooving on it, and just have fun with it, because we know that it's what's coming.
Yeah.
So we might as well be prepared for it. Let's see. I'm having a hard time getting back into my Zoom account here. I'm right here. There we go. So, all right. Anyway, we are going to drop that in there right now, and then we're going to call it a day, Mike. What do you
There we
think?
go. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming in here today. And if you haven't picked that up, go pick it up. Pick up those awesome tools. If you grab that lifetime, make sure that you reach out to me on my support email, which is at viperseotools.com. So I know that just went to the hosts and panelists. Patrick, if you could copy that.
Let me copy it for you, okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
I got too many things in a way. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. So just email me that. Email your information over to me, the receipts, and I'll get you hooked up.
All right, guys. Mike, thanks a lot.
All right,
We'll talk to
Patrick. Thank
later.
you so much, Gary. Thanks, guys.
Pleasure.
All right. See you. Bye-bye.